Hello, vegans, or soon to be ones. I'm Florian, and I'm making a quick intro here with Guy. I've been working with Guy over the last 6 months. Guy lost 10 kilos, which is 22 pounds in the time of us working together, and turned into a fit vegan. So, Guy, welcome to the Hall of Fame. Good to have you here. And tell me a bit more. How long have you been vegan since?
Yes, thanks very much, Florian. It's a real delight to be at this end of the road and celebrating this. I've been a vegan since 2014, so just over 8 years. I was living in the United States at that time in New England, outside of New York City, and had an epiphany after somebody sent me a video about the chicken and egg industry. And I found it so incredible and unbelievable that I set out to disprove it and ended up becoming vegan.
Wonderful choice. So vegan veteran there, vegan pro since 8 years. So Guy, let's take us back to kind of before you started the Fit Vegan program, Fit Vegan Evolution program. What was your situation like before? Of course, you were 10 kilos heavier, which you now lost, but tell me more about the past situation. How was the situation like, and what were your frustrations?
Well, like many people who went through the COVID pandemic, it disrupted my life in a lot of different ways. And one of the ways that it did that is that it led me to fall out of some practices that I had acquired, when I first became a vegan in terms of taking care of my physical and mental health, and sort of fell into a period of decline physically, emotionally, actually in all sorts of ways, which affected my work, affected my relationship, and my overall sense of well-being. And so I had the opportunity to make a sort of huge life change and left the United States and moved to Spain. And when I got here, I thought this was an opportunity to make other changes and to address things that were important to me. But I also recognized that my track record of trying to do it on my own was not strong, and it would be helpful to seek assistance from professionals. And so that's what I set out to do when I arrived in Barcelona. I think I'd been here not quite 2 months when I reached out to you.
Oh, an awesome decision. Great for you to kind of took that leap of faith. Before you reached out to me, which kind of things have you tried? You told me before that you didn't have kind of a big track record of kind of achieving this on your own. Which kind of things have you tried, and how did it feel like when you kind of were trying these different things and they were not succeeding?
Well, let me clarify by saying, actually, I did try things. The year before I went vegan, I started taking care of my fitness. I started going to a gym, and I worked with a trainer, with a coach. And over the next several years, and then accelerating after I became vegan, I actually achieved quite a lot of weight loss and fitness. And so from a physical metrics perspective, I made huge gains. In fact, I think I lost more weight than I did this time. What I did not succeed in doing was changing some core habits and dispositions, which I think can talk about in a little bit, that made me much more susceptible to falling back and losing those gains, which is in fact what happened when confronted with a disruption in life. Obviously a fairly huge global one, but nevertheless, all the things that I've gained, I was still ill-equipped to deal with change and turmoil and different things, and just literally gave back all the gains that I had made in that earlier period. So this wasn't my first rodeo or first vegan rodeo, but I obviously came out of that first one lacking in a number of important areas.
So you've seen some results, you've seen that it works, but kind of always the sustainability was lacking in the past or in the previous try. Is that correct?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I relied on, in some respects, being guilted into doing the things I was doing. I had a trainer who was a former Navy SEAL, took a very aggressive, friendly but aggressive approach on pushing gains, and I just felt like, okay, I have to do this, even no matter how I feel about it. So there was a long time when my feelings and my sort of sense of self were not aligned with my practice. I was doing exercise, doing all this stuff, dieting, but the sort of fundamental habits weren't changing. I was just doing what I was told. And then as soon as that was removed, then right. Having the ability to motivate myself and to do the right thing. I think, as we said before in meetings, the information is readily available. We all know what to do. Most of us know what to do. It's just that we don't do it, and that's the trick, is understanding why we're not doing it and changing ourselves so that we can act on the information that we get. And that's what I didn't get out of my earlier sort of bouts of exercise and fitness mania.
Okay, cool. Correct way to describe it, fitness mania. So, Guy, with your previous situation before starting the program, you've regained the weight and you're an individual in his 60s. Did you have any doubts about being able to lose that weight, or what was kind of the mental chatter that was going on in your mind at that time, kind of before hopping on the call, or maybe during on the call with yours truly? Tell me more about that.
I sort of thought that it was doable, but I have to say that going through the questionnaire or answering the questions and preparing for that call, which forced me to sit down and say, what are my goals here? Why am I even doing this? That was actually quite eye-opening, because I never really thought about it in those terms. I used to always think, well, I have to do this because I ought to be fit. Like, one should be this, but it was kind of an abstraction. So just the exercise of sitting down and having to prepare to have that conversation forced me to be, I think, really honest. And I think I was just at the point in my life, making all these changes, that I thought, well, you don't get a lot of second chances as you get older. And so if there was ever a time to be honest with myself, now is probably it. So I think going through that exercise and coming into this with very, very clear goals of why, the reasons, why am I doing this? And I came to it knowing pretty clearly why. And I thought, well, actually, these are really good reasons. And they align with kind of my hopes and dreams for the future, because yes, I'm 62, but I wasn't planning on dying soon. So, I felt it was worth the time and the energy and the effort and the resources to pursue it. But I was confident that in the right program with the right people and the right attitude, that it would be possible.
Well done, well done. So tell me more about kind of your current situation. You told me there before that you're kind of confident that this was the right choice. And how's your situation like right now? Are you very active? You lost those 10 kilos. Tell me more. How does life feel like being the current guy? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I'll answer this in two parts. The first answer is it's amazing. And I really, when I look back, when I look back over the timeline and I look at the metrics, the way that we track things, and I look at the little chart and the arrows and stuff, and then I look in the mirror, I go, well, yes, here we are. And I was just actually calculating this morning that I probably have not been as sort of lean and fit and feeling physically good since I was going to say like 1979, 1980. So well over 40 years. I have to go back that far to when I felt this physically just good. Even when I hit sort of peak fitness in my last program, I had so many other conflicts and issues that were associated with that, that I was dealing with, that I couldn't fully, I felt like it was a struggle. I got there, but I thought this was not going to last. I'm going to fall off the thing at any moment. Now I feel like, oh, I did this, and actually I'm at the end of the program, but it's so easy for me to envision that this is just going to go on and on and on. As I said to one of your colleagues, it's clearly a marathon, but with no finish line. I mean, there is a finish line somewhere, but it's definitely not a sprint. And too much of my life has been lived at sort of sprint mode, and then arriving at the finish line and thinking, well, but there's more. Now what do I do? This doesn't feel like that. This feels like I'm like really well equipped, that I could never talk to you again. And the pattern I'm living in now will just continue and continue. And that's like very reassuring in a lot of ways, more so than just stepping on the scale, just knowing that, I'm in control now of the behaviors that in the past were sort of controlling me. So I think that's, how I feel about things now.
That's exactly where we kind of want to be, right? You also want to create that empowerment in you so that you know that you can maintain this on your own because you understand kind of not only how, but also why things work, so you can sustain this for the long term. I'm very happy that we've achieved that. So Guy, let me ask, what would you tell a person that was in a similar situation as you were, let's say 6 months ago? Person is not in the 20s anymore, right? Has tried a multitude of things, maybe due to COVID or to other life situations. They've regained their weight. Right now, they're thinking they should do something, but they're also kind of battling with the thoughts in the top of their mind. Is like, it's not truly worth it. Should I actually be kind of doing this? So what would you tell that person? Tell me more about that.
Well, first, being overweight or being unfit is a manifestation of other things. There are usually other issues involved. And this is setting aside people who have actually legitimate, physical issues that they're struggling with. And I know people like that. And their health and fitness is a function of other things outside of their control. But to the extent that that's not the issue, I think it's important that you would go into this being willing to change other things about your life, because as I said, the physical part of it is really kind of the surface manifestation of underlying conflicts. A lot of it has to do with self-esteem and a lack of focus, a lack of sense of why am I doing anything? What am I doing? I mean, for me, it was very existential in the sense of, why do I even want to be fit? Why do I even care? I've been in a relationship now for nearly 4 years. Girlfriend was happy with how I was, but I wasn't happy with myself, and it manifested in different ways, including this. So I say that you need to go into it willing to confront some unpleasant things about yourself, but doing so in a way that is constructive and not judgmental. Like, I'm doing this because now I've decided I want to be something else. I want to be my best self. I want to live my best life. Why? Well, because why not? We all deserve that, right? We weren't born into the world to deserve something terrible for ourselves. We deserve good things. So therefore, if we can accept that and we can say, okay, I deserve to be fit. I deserve to be my best self and live my best life. Then actually, the program is just kind of like, okay, now you've decided. So here's the program, follow the process. And it's kind of, how should I say, it's automatic. There's no magic involved here. It's not about are you a good enough person? Are you strong enough? Whatever. No, the program is tailored to where you are, and it takes you to where you want to go, right? In a very sort of systematic and scientific way. So I would just say to anybody in my situation is just, as we say all the time in the meetings, like, trust the process, and then believe that you deserve this. That this is what you've earned, in a sense.
I like that, guys. Super awesome. I like that you also touch base upon the inner aspect, because we've always seen the kind of quote unquote failure is too often mental, not physical. Right? It's not often the kind of physical limitation that is stopping us. We're not falling into a coma, then we're quitting on the process. If it's well designed, it's often kind of the mental chatter that you fall into. I like also about the deserving approach, and that you kind of mentioned the program is structured to be a scientific process. If you know what you're doing, kind of getting in shape is more about the science and less about art or magic, which most people kind of make it out to be. So Guy, thank you so much for our time together. That was kind of the key questions that I have for you. It's been super awesome working together with you over the last 6 months. You're naturally awesome, and hence why you're in the program. Do you want to mention something as well, kind of to the others, kind of some closing words for people that are watching this interview right now, maybe some encouraging words for their journey?
Yeah, I mean, for one thing, I just want to reiterate that it's difficult enough to do this kind of work for yourself, just all things considered. It's even more difficult if you're vegan. And the world is going to be filled with resistance and messages that you are bombarded with, that no, veganism, you can't be fit as a vegan, you can't be healthy. Veganism is, you're going to end up dead from protein deficiency. All the things that people have been misled to believe, you have to deal with all that. But I want to stress that being vegan actually reinforced my convictions that this was the right thing to do, because it's never been about a diet. I didn't become a vegan to become healthy. became a vegan because I understood what the exploitation of animals ultimately meant, but it just so happens that adopting that ethical stance carries with it a corresponding health benefit, not to mention environmental benefit, right? Those are the three pillars of veganism. So I would encourage people to tap into that, whatever, if you're not vegan, become a vegan, right? There's many good reasons. There are no good reasons not to, but that once you make that commitment, you can tap into that and to that emotional and deeply held conviction to overcome, the inevitable, struggles and hurdles and things that you run into. How can I meet my calorie count? How can I avoid, or find a vegan meal? As you know, I have many stories about finding vegan meals in impossible little villages in Spain. So that would be my advice: is go vegan and then tap into that to give yourself strength.
And the bicycle rides, that's awesome. vegan restaurant, and I like that because you can see veganism as a burden, as something that restricts you, but you can also see it as a source or kind of a well for strength, right? Because I think first and foremost, most people that are vegan right now, I think I would assume most people that are watching this right now, vegan, looking to become fit vegan, you have to understand that you already significantly changed your life to become a vegan, right? Guy and me included, we were not born vegan, and likely you were also not born vegan. So you've significantly changed your life and your identity. So the same step to go from vegan to fit vegan will be just similar as what you did from kind of becoming a non-vegan to a vegan. So Guy, thank you so much for your words of wisdom in today's call. Again, has been a pleasure working with you, and to all the kind of fellow vegans or soon-to-be vegans or soon-to-be fit vegans joining in. Thank you so much for your time. And if you want to learn more about what we're doing, then head over to fitvegans.com and book your call. So thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful day. And Guy, thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.